Hello. So, I've been painting again, and here's how it's going. TLDR, it's going great. I recently got bit by the art bug, for lack of a better term. I don't know, something in me snapped, I guess? And now all I want to do is paint. It's not a problem at all. If anything, this sudden urge of creativity is a good thing. But let's go back to where it all started. In May, I taught art classes at my local libraries. These were snack and paint classes for kids and teens to kind of play off sip and paint classes for adults. I was instructing kids, and even adults at times, how to recreate 2 of my original artworks for AAPI month. It was a great opportunity, and I had so much fun and learned a lot from teaching the classes. The funny thing was, I originally created these 2 paintings digitally on my iPad. So I had to practice painting them on actual canvases with acrylic paints, simplifying the designs and keeping in mind that children had to follow the instructions. So it was quite the task to think about my art in this way, transforming heavily detailed digital art into a looser, traditional art form for kids to understand and recreate. I practiced from February, when the libraries proposed the classes to me, to right before the classes started on May 1st. I was so out of practice with painting traditionally that it made me nervous and even second-guess my abilities. But I was able to do it. And with every class I taught, there were 10 in total, about 2 hours each, I got better. Not only at publicly speaking and instructing, but at painting in general. I actually got really good at painting upside down because I had to hold the small canvases and walk around for the students to see each step. But I think the whole experience helped me get back into just using traditional media. I don't have video clips of me actually teaching because it felt weird to record the classes with a bunch of kids in it. And also, I was too busy during the classes to even think about recording. Each class required a lot of effort, but seeing kids have fun painting is such a rewarding feeling. So that was the start of my painting endeavors. Another thing that catapulted this creative burst of energy was this painting. If you watched my last vlog, you would have seen similar clips of me painting this bad boy. This is a painting I made inspired by quilt patterns. I also explained in that video that my personal project for the summer is to create 3 paintings that I will then bring to the Philippines in December. My husband and I have a new condo there, and it'll be our first time seeing it when we visit family for Christmas. So we wanted to decorate the place with our art, my paintings, and Kobe, my husband's photography. With all of my work, digital or traditional, I always sketch things out first or create a little thumbnail of my ideas for the design. I happen to really love the ideas that I had for these 3 paintings. I wanted the 3 to be different representations of myself, my interests, personal style, and artistic abilities. Since these will live in a place that I won't be occupying for more than 2 weeks in the year, I want whoever is staying at our condo, family and friends in the Philippines, to see these paintings and think of me. Not only by the fact that I made them, but by the certain vibe or feeling that I'm trying to convey in them. I'm not sure if I'm explaining this correctly. It's been a while since I've had to explain my artwork at all. But simply put, I want them to see it and have it remind them of me in any capacity. Did I just repeat myself? Maybe. But I think you get my point. With all that said, I've finished the quilted painting, which is what I've titled it, and I've started the second one. The next painting I started is probably one of the largest paintings I've done since college. It's a super simple design, tulips in a vase on a table. This one was inspired by all of the floral art I saw during my trip to Paris. I went to quite a few museums and was always drawn to the traditional still life, flowers in a vase paintings. Think Manet or Renoir. I've drawn a lot of similar designs to this in the past, but never to this scale or on a canvas. Prior to this painting surge, I've only done things digitally for the past 3 to 4 years. Sure, I sketch a lot in my sketchbook, but everything is always finished digitally. I would create things in this way for the sole purpose of production or social media. It was easier to do them digitally because then they were going to be shared digitally in some sense, online or to my manufacturers. But for this tulip painting, I wanted it to be big, bright, and colorful, things that I associate with myself. Well, except for big. I small. But I wanted to create a large painting for once. I thought I would be intimidated by the size of the canvas, but having done the quilted painting first, I was really eager and excited to get this one going. My approach to this one, in opposition to the quilted, was don't think, just do. For the quilted painting, I was more meticulous because, like in quilting, there's a pattern you follow. So colors had to be placed in certain areas, and it was kind of formulaic. But for the tulips, I just thought I wanted to see big-ass tulips, and that's it. That's what would make me happy seeing this painting. Colors I'm using are similar to the quilted painting, but this is also going based off of my feelings. I'm not sure if I like the current pink and blue background or the color of the vase. I could change it if I wanted to, but I don't want to overthink these paintings at all and just go with how I feel, which I haven't done in a while. Previously, everything I've drawn or created was for the purpose of production, like designs for a sticker, an art print, a tote bag, washi tape, you name it. I've been very product driven lately, which isn't always a bad thing, but more recently it's prevented me from creating things freely, if that makes sense. It is hard when you're trying to operate a small business as an artist. I have my shop, and I want to continue to do well and sell as many items as possible because it's a part of my livelihood. But sometimes I forget that I'm an artist and not a machine that needs to continuously crank out products. Painting a lot recently has reminded me that I should take some time for me, for my art practice. It is easier said than done, but starting off with one painting or one creative endeavor for yourself can catapult you in the way that it did me. Just remember, it's for you and no one else. That being said, I'm still having fun and not rushing the tulip painting. If I were to do this digitally, I don't know why, but I would have pressured myself into finishing it ASAP. I think it's partly because there's no need to prep materials for digital art, other than making sure everything is charged and at full battery. Sometimes my iPad is fully charged, but I forget to charge my Apple Pencil and then have to wait 30 minutes before drawing again. And in that time, I feel like I'm wasting time. Whereas for painting or doing things with physical materials, you make the time. And it can be a slow process because you're prepping your materials. You're getting your paints ready, your colors mixed, your canvas or paper prepped, water cups filled, brushes cleaned, and choosing optimal lighting if you're not me. Sometimes I paint when it's dark, like a little gremlin. Don't recommend, but it's been hot recently and overhead lights make it hotter in my studio, so sometimes I paint in the dark. But the slow process of traditional art is another thing that I've been really liking. It's weird how, as an artist, you tend to put so much unnecessary pressure on yourself to be good, to be different, to be as fast as possible because someone else is all of those things or better than you. It's easy to get influenced by social media, Instagram, all of these platforms where it seems like everyone's got everything figured out. Their business is booming while they're creating their art in a beautiful studio. I was always so confused about how everyone was able to do it while I felt like I was struggling. I asked myself questions like, am I not a good enough artist? Am I not working hard enough? Is everyone else just lucky and going viral? I think at one point I was so concerned about everyone else that I forgot about myself. It's funny how easily you can get swept away by so-called jealousy or desires because you're consuming so much on a daily basis. I think I've done a good job of overcoming that jealousy, at least. It's become more like amazement and discovery, like, wow, how'd they do that? How do I do that? I've realized my own capabilities and am trying to hone in on them and progress in my own way. A part of that is realizing not everything is a race or needs to be done in a rush. If you don't finish something by the time you plan on finishing something, nothing physically bad is going to happen to you. I mean, I don't know who you're dealing with, but in general, there's no need to beat yourself up. I had a problem with this in the past, but have come to realize that there are more important things in life and I shouldn't get worked up over things that I can't control. But back to the paintings. I'm still working on the tulip one, and then I'll start the third, which will be more of an organic floral painting with a cute character or two hidden somewhere inside. And this will represent my cutesy art style a little more. The process of painting these has led me to do other artworks traditionally. My Patreon rewards for this month were all painted and they came out so cute. Probably my favorite design so far. Again, I was so out of practice with traditional materials, especially this acrylic wash. I had originally gotten the Holbein acrylic wash in the Mossery Co. sibling collab years ago. I wanted to learn how to use these paints, but at the time I was struggling hard. I couldn't figure out how to properly use this medium. In college, I used oil paints for all of my painting classes. I liked how malleable or blendable oil paints are. At the time, I also thought they were a fancier and more traditional material, so I wanted to learn and get good at oil painting because all of the great artists in the past were using oil paints. But with oil painting, you have to use oil thinners and oil paints themselves. Basically, semi-toxic materials if you're painting in an enclosed space, like a room in your house with the smallest window, aka my studio. The scent of oil paintings is really strong too, and kind of smells toxic at some times. So for these reasons, I didn't want to fully go back to oil painting, but I do have the materials in my studio in case I change my mind. But I wanted to tackle these acrylic washes again, also because I bought a lot during my trip to Japan last year. If you saw my Japan haul video, you know that I did damage. But yeah, I don't know what happened, but I figured it out. I was able to achieve the look and texture that I like, mix the colors properly, and generally like the outcome of every painting. Something clicked this time around, and I think it just has to do with the fact that I kept trying. In the past, I gave up so easily because I had the fallback of digital art. Don't get me wrong, iPads are not cheap. Neither is the software or certain drawing apps, so I wanted to make the most of investing in my iPad at the time and get really good at digital art too. But now, after years of practicing with digital art, I find myself wanting to go back to traditional, and eventually being able to mix both mediums. Right now, the physical act of painting on a canvas or paper is really therapeutic. I'm less hard on myself too. Something about doing things by hand makes me more understanding of the effort. Not to say that there's less effort in digital art, it's the opposite for me at least. I felt like I put so much effort into my digital art because I could fix a quote-unquote mistake much faster. Whereas in painting, a mistake can be seen as a happy accident. I never allowed for happy accidents in digital art. I guess that's something I could work on as well. I'm also working on pieces for an art gallery / market hosted by one of my best friends, Jasmine. I'll have her IG on screen and info in the description. But the gallery is themed heaven and hell. Half of the artists are creating art inspired by either topic. So the heaven section can have cute, light, angelic items, while the hell section can have creepy, dark, demonic items. Things in that corresponding nature. I'm on the heaven side, as my art is cutesier, light, and playful. But I wanted to create new art for the event, and again, have been painting like a fiend for it. Same process of creating sketches and then painting with traditional materials. I'm having lots of fun painting all of these, and it's been a nice push for myself to paint with a prompt or theme in mind. Overall, I've been a lot happier with my art. I think it's the first time that I'm making things for myself, as well as for markets, events, patrons. I really haven't done that ever. It's crazy to think that I don't have my own art hung up in my house somewhere. Sure, I have my art prints up on my walls, but not a full piece that's just dedicated for myself. I never realized it until I decided to do this summer project, and even these aren't for my home, but for my home away from home in the Philippines. Still, it's for me and my husband, and it's a nice feeling to create something for yourself. That being said, I should make another painting for my bedroom here in the US. Overall, I think the lesson here is, as an artist, don't forget about yourself, because you deserve nice things too. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little different than the normal videos that I do here, but it felt like a nice visual journal entry about rediscovering my love for painting. I'll have links to all the materials I used below, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!